This is the first of a series about starting a skin clinic. And I consider, before we even begin, what is important is how do we define successful skin clinic. There are different pathways, but once we define what success is, then we can set our vision and then we can plan our path towards it. So there are two prongs to this approach. One is patient satisfaction or client satisfaction, and the other one is financial reward. We need both of these targets, otherwise we are going to be disenfranchised with the work that we do. So although there are two different pathways, we do need to focus on each pathway separately. The first is regarding the patient satisfaction. So this depends on a whole series of procedures that we need to do. The most important of all, we all focus on, the first thing we want to learn is the technical skill, the science behind it, the treatment, and how to get to a certain stage where the clients are obviously satisfied with us. Obviously, this is results driven. If you have the technical skill, you deliver some results, patients are happy. And not to forget that to go hand in hand is some business skill, analysis skill. What I mean by that is you don't need to be an accountant, but you need to be street smart. You need some basic steps that you need to learn. That is how to analyze whether you should buy this machinery for your area and your area of expertise. What I'm trying to say is that there's no point going out. The first thing you buy, the first machine you buy is a laser, because there's a lot of things to learn about the laser. Sure, first of all, do you want to understand what a laser does? And do you understand the skin science behind it? And have you made the right diagnosis? So there's a series of tiny steps you need to learn before you embark onto acquiring a machine. And of course, in the business skill section, do you actually have the clientele to pay for this style of machine? Just to give you an example, you may think you may want to buy a tattoo removal machine, but do you actually have the clientele for it? Are you situated in the right place? So this is what relates to business skill. The good news is technical skill is not hard to learn. So there are bits and pieces on the social media, on YouTube, and so on. It's not rocket science, but it is important to get a comprehensive idea to build from ground out. So from me, from educational point of view, it's very important to understand the most basic of all, and that is skin science. Okay, skin science could mean a lot of different things. I'll lead on to it. Skin science is about knowing something about the skin, the different cells, the different components of the skin, before we even think about the aging process and then the treatment relating to it. But without even understanding skin science, we really can't go and buy a piece of equipment. It may be microneedling or IPL and so on, or microdermabrasion. We can't really relate to it. All we think is being sold on a piece of equipment and we get the end result. But that leads to a lot of problems because you don't understand why you use it in the first place. So you don't have the confidence and you are not able to vary the treatment accordingly because there's no basic knowledge. That comes to the basic business skill. So basic business skill, as I mentioned, you don't need to be an accountant. You just need to understand whether your business in your brand, your area, and your demographics, whether it suits that model. For example, again, we talk about laser hair removal. Are you in an Asian area which requires very little hair removal? So this is another extreme that I would like to highlight. So if you can marry the technical skill and the business skill, then the two paths will merge, and then it starts to form what looks like a business plan, a basic business plan. So all these are little building blocks you can come together to make a successful skin clinic. And once you are able to target these two separately, walk different paths and yet merge them somehow, then you will enjoy the process, because then you enjoy the patients getting a results, the outcome that they want. It is a joy to any therapist or anybody who's involved in treating a patient or client, right? You want to see that the patients are happy with your service because you're showing results. And you wouldn't want to be involved in a skin clinic where the patients keep coming back and you don't see any improvement. That is very demoralizing. And once you've decided that these are the two paths that you go on, and I will lead you along this path bit by bit. And you then need to focus on the process because you're not there yet. You're not able to make a successful skin clinic just by knowing a little bit of everything. You're not there yet. There's so many steps that you need to make. And then finally, you then put it into action. So this is very important for me to remind you. You need to focus on the process and not focus on the money or technical skill. You somehow need to combine it and to make your skin clinic a successful journey.